BBD, let's call our guy because it's on the mind.
Let's do it.
It's on the mind. All right. I'm going to call him up right now. A little nervous.
All right. We got sound.
We got sound.
Make sure we've got sound.
Calling now. Live from the Super Bowl in Tampa.
What's up, weirdo?
Hello, is this Chris Rose?
It is the one and only. No, believe me, nobody else wants to be me.
Chris Rose from the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Is that how people still introduce you?
Well, first of all, at this point in my career, I rarely get introduced. So I would say that, people still like talking about that show the most, which is, I will take that. That is a badge of honor right there. I would say, I still love that show. And, the one I just left, Intentional Talk, I think that's probably it, I would say. So, I'm on board with it.
Those are big ones. Those are big flexes. Chris, you're down in Tampa. Did you get in yesterday or did you get in? I don't know. What's going on down there? Does it feel like the Super Bowl?
What, you want to know my whole travel itinerary?
If you could, that'd be great.
Yes, I took flight 559 out of LAX, departing at I came here Tuesday.
Okay.
And was on the air Wednesday. Thanks for watching yesterday. Yeah. Obviously, you were glued to the set. I'll be doing our Super Bowl live coverage. We have like 70 live hours from here in Tampa. And we are, we don't have as many on-air people as we've had in years past. I'm one of the really fortunate. There's 12 of us on air total, talking about analysts, hosts, reporters. Usually we have 60.
Wow.
So it's just because of, COVID, that's what's happening. And I will tell you this. So most times on a Thursday morning, the place would be buzzing, right? I'm on their famous Riverwalk right now. I see like 10 people. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It really is. Although I'm about to hop on somebody's boat and take that for a spin, I can tell you that.
Breaking news, Chris Rose stealing a boat. Well, that's why I wanted to give you a shout, man, because in the Northeast, we got hit with a massive snowstorm. So there's kind of been the weird, Monday and Tuesday almost got canceled. And then I just think on top of that, we're normally used to the normal Super Bowl week, and we're getting the silly, Marshawn interviews and stuff like that are leaking out by now. And right now on the receiving end, and I'm sorry I missed you yesterday, trying to make my content, but it's kind of a weird feeling because then your brain jumps back into it and you're like, Brady, Mahomes, this is like the dream.
Yeah, I'm with you. The game itself, like when we finally get to Sunday, it's going to be amazing. It really is. Like when you think about it, we got a guy that's 10 freaking Super Bowls. 10.
Yeah.
There's only 55 that we've played, and he only started playing in them. He was only eligible starting at Super Bowl 35. So, this is nuts.
Yeah.
What's going on with him? And I have said this several times, and I'm a firm believer in it, that I think when it's all said and done, and I'm not much for hyperbole, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be right up there with Brady when it's said and done. I've never seen a guy this young be this dominant, this talented, this smart, because usually like a quarterback of his age or just a guy who's been in the league 10 years, doesn't matter. Like every Sunday you'll watch a quarterback make at least 2 throws a game where you're like, what the hell was he thinking? Like, really? Like Mahomes, it's like once a month, maybe. He's just so far ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with that is he also, when he does make that one mistake, their offense is still, it's just so potent that he can kind of shrug. Like, you don't have to go head down on the bench. He just gets out there and twirls the next one. But, I'm with you on the all-time stuff, Chris, and I think that's where I actually get a little more tuned in is because, Brady's going for 7, which is insane. And I think Mahomes and Reed, and I've been saying it on here, and it's kind of hot take, kind of dumb, but I think this Chiefs team is just gonna roll. Andy Reid finally got the monkey off his back, and he's got Mahomes, and Reed is a genius. That I think these guys are gonna be doing it for the next 15 years, and I think it's kind of funny if Brady wins this one. It's going to make it that much tougher for Mahomes to catch him, where if Mahomes gets 2 and Brady's at 6, I think that's going to become all that more real.
Yeah, I'm not even so sure when I'm talking about comparisons between the two. I don't think it's just strictly Super Bowl rings, right? I know that's how we sometimes like to measure it. Maybe it's the tiebreaker eventually, but let your eyes tell you the story. Like when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, it really was that defense that did it against the Rams, and he put together a great drive. Now, yes, you can look up the record book. Who is the MVP of Super Bowl 36? It was Tom Brady, but he threw for 160 yards,
Yeah.
And a touchdown. He was really I hate the term, but he really was a game manager, right?
Yeah.
And Mahomes has never been a game manager. He came in, he made that start in week 17 of the 2017 season against Denver when Alex Smith was still the quarterback, and we were like, wow, okay, this guy's got a little something. Then they trade Smith, and they turn the keys over, and we're like, whoa. A playoff team giving it to a guy who's unproven and has lousy footwork and all. And from the minute he set foot on that field in 2018, we're all like, it's all making sense now. He is just, I've never seen a guy like him. I would say the closest is Marino. And unfortunately, Marino got there in his second season in the Super Bowl and then never sniffed it after that.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, a lot of people were getting in my head with those. You probably saw them too. Brady, when Brady made it to the Super Bowl coming from the NFC, everyone was tweeting how Rodgers only did it once and Breeze only did it once, and that almost put things more in perspective for Mahomes for me, because he's going back-to-back years. We kind of shrug because Mahomes is that good, but that doesn't happen in the NFL. It's unreal, man. So I don't know. That wasn't really a question, but I guess going from there, what level of football guy are you at this point? Because I talked to you the other day, and one of your final intentional talks, you were doing some Super Bowl stuff, and I was crazy impressed by that because you were just going, and it was
I'm a football geek.
You're a football,
I really am,
which I love. But so
I love both, and I love the NBA too. I really do.
Sure.
Those big three, I'm all over it as far as history, and I love it. That was no joke. That was not set up. That Super Bowl trivia, and yeah, I don't have much of a life, really. I got to be honest. I'll tell you. Got 2 great kids, a wonderful wife, and my sports, and that's about it. I dabble in a few other things, but yeah, this is it, man. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I've been doing.
That's the dream,
man. I was a kid.
Kids, wife, and sports. That's hashtag goals. I was gonna lean into for football. There's different levels though. There's guys that get in the tape and do A gap, B gap. Did you ever do that deep dive? Because I never have. I almost view it at the Madden level. I can see when a guy makes a good block or makes a good play, but I don't see the inside outs. Do you ever get into the game tape heavy?
Okay, so yes, we do have access. When you work at NFL Network, we have a thing called the Game Pass, which you can buy as a fan. We're fortunate to kind of get it for free because it's our job. And can I sit there and watch the all 22 game film? Absolutely. Do I? No, because that's not what I prepare for as a host. I respect the hell out of those guys that do that sort of deep dive stuff, but I'm never going to pretend. There are people in our business who pretend they know more than Michael Irvin, who will be sitting next to me, Kurt Warner, who will, sit next to me at some point this week, Willie McGinnis, and they start talking about strategy, and I'm like, these guys actually were in the A gap, and this guy was running that pattern. and this guy was reading the defense, I think I'll listen to him. So, it's good to – I love asking questions. Like, there's nothing better than sitting and watching a football game with one of those guys and asking what transpired instead of trying to be like, yeah, dude, why? Like, that guy's such an idiot. This should have happened. I come from the school of if you ask the question, you're going to get some really interesting answers.
Yeah, that's a good way to live. Yeah. So I guess off of that, I was going to say, I was kind of going to get some of your opinions. Like, for you, does Kelsey jump out, or Tyreek Hill's different, or something that Tampa does that has kind of started convincing you about the Super Bowl? But I guess have any of those guys whispered something to you that you've been like, oh, wow, I didn't even think of that?
Well, so we already have a blueprint because these teams played in Week 12. In fact, it was the Buccaneers' last loss. And, people look at the score and say 27-24. Boy, it was a tight game. We'd be lucky to get something like that. If you remember the game, the Chiefs were kicking the crap out of the Bucs. They were up 17-0 midway through the second quarter and inside the Buccaneers' 10-yard line and about to make it 24-0. And you could kiss it goodnight. Romo and Nance would have been doing 60 minutes promos, for the next 3 hours to keep the audience. And Shaq Barrett got a strip sack of Mahomes, and the Bucs went down and scored, and it changed the complexion of the game. So, for me, obviously we know that Tyreek Hill had over 200 yards receiving in the first quarter alone. He torched a pretty good young corner in Carlton Davis. They threw at Davis 9 times. They threw to Hill 9 times against Davis. He caught 9 passes for more than 200 yards, and I think all 3 of his touchdowns. Now, you don't think that Todd Bowles is going to change up that defense to make sure that doesn't happen again? So, it's that sort of cat and mouse game. What sort of adjustments get made? How Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy help their 2 offensive tackles now that there's no Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher against a really good front 4. Those are the fun little things that we'll talk about and kind of watch, and it might come to fruition, or maybe I'll be full of shit, at the end of the day. Maybe I'll just pretend I know what I'm talking about.
It's that's kind of what I live by. So I guess, you mentioned the cat and mouse game of it, and I guess that is the funny part about football. You could give I've kind of been locked in on the Chiefs early this year. I think Mahomes is different. I think Reid is comfortable, and he's just such an offensive guru that with Mahomes, I've been locked in. It's not a hot take, but, I might as well go down with the ship at this point. But you're so right with football. Like, if those 2 tackles, if Pierre Paul and Shaq Barrett are just dominating, that changes the whole outlook of the entire game. So, we're at John Boy Media, we're not hot take people, but do you got to lean at this point?
Well, you make an interesting point about Shaq Barrett and JPP. It was two interesting things. One is, Shaq Barrett kind of exploded on the scene a year ago. He had some solid years in Denver, but really took it to another level last year, leading the NFL in sacks. And then this year, he was just kind of laying in the weeds until last week or 2 weeks ago against the Packers. I mean, he'd gone like 6 or 7 weeks without a sack, and he had 3 against Rodgers. So, pass rushers are a little bit like home run hitters. Like, when they get hot, they start to get hot. And JPP, they asked him about Eric Fisher's replacement, Mike Remmers. And he's like, who? They're like, yeah, the guy that's going to be starting a tackle opposite you. Now, keep in mind, Mike Remmers might not be a household name, but he ain't a rookie.
Yeah.
He's been in the league 9 years. He started a Super Bowl for the Panthers. And JPP should probably know who he is. He's made almost 100 career starts. And he's like, who's that? They're like, Mike Remmers. R-E-M-M. So, I mean, you talk about a lack of respect. Guy, like JPP isn't like, oh, yeah, you know what? He's fine. He's like, no clue, bro. No clue. So that's going to be fun, I think. With all that being said, I'm a huge Mahomes fan. I dig him. I got a huge man crush. He's, I'm a diehard Browns fan, so Chiefs ripped my heart out a few weeks ago. But man, I'm rooting for that guy. I have every reason in the world to appreciate what he does and just who he is and how he's handled himself. He's just, if you could make the modern day pro athlete, he's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we do so much stuff linked to baseball. Like, he's part of the Royals ownership group, and that's really exciting now. And yeah, man, I mean, how often do you see, and we'll see his development as he continues, but, he very much listens to Reed on the bench, and he talks to his guys. He's everything you want. You're right. He's the absolute dream. I don't know. I think from the fan side, this is, like, I'm, New York sports, but I still like Brady. I love Brady and respect him. This Super Bowl feels like a win-win. If Brady wins and gets another, it's like, awesome. I don't hate that at all.
No, listen, I'm with you here. Like, I don't think we as sports fans do a good enough job appreciating greatness because we're always looking for the next great thing. Like, I think LeBron probably could have won 10 MVPs by now. But because he set the bar so high for himself, and then boom, Steph Curry comes out of nowhere. Hey, he's the guy. Then Giannis pops. Hey, no, he's the guy. Like, we forget to embrace greatness until it's 20 years down the road, and then we're still talking about that guy, right? Like, don't we all wish that Michael Jordan had finished up strong instead of limping to the Washington Wizards? Like, wouldn't we have wanted to see Jordan still compete for NBA titles at age 39? Like, you wanted, I think we kind of regret that didn't happen. Well, with Brady, we don't have to regret it. We are living in it. This is something we will never see again. We are not going to see, just because I don't think anybody's going to give a shit about still playing at 43, unless they're a kicker. Like, who the hell wants to not eat sugar and down avocado ice cream their entire life just so that they could play in the last game of the year? If I were him, like, I've asked myself this question this week several times. Why is Tom Brady still playing? Like, people go, well, you go until they rip the uniform off of you, or you do that. Like, the guy's 43. He's got 2 kids. His wife makes way more money than he does. If I were in that situation, I'd put my feet up and be like, hell yes, I'm calling it a day. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I'm not going to work out 7 days a week. I'm going to do it 3. I'll take long walks. I'll go watch my kids play ball or do recitals or, sing in the choir or whatever. Like, I'm not thinking 24/7, but he is wired so different. So I guess while he's here, I don't begrudge anyone who's hopping on that Brady train at all.
Yeah, I think we had a big realization when Breeze broke his ribs this year. We were like, oh my God, like 42-year-old Drew Brees is playing with 8 broken ribs in the NFL. Like, why? Like, that's my nightmare. But Chris, I asked you for 5 to 10 minutes and we're at 15. So, and hey, enjoy walking around Tampa and stealing boats. We'll see you on 70. How many straight hours of Super Bowl coverage? 70
Jake,
plus?
It's not me. Yeah, I'm not just doing 70 straight.
I think you should.
Like the Jerry Lewis telethon back in the day. Like, there's help on the way. There's reinforcements.
Okay.
Let you take
I'll be on from 4 to 7 Eastern today with Michael Irvin. So pray for me. I love Irvin. We used to work together at Best Dam, and that's where it all started. So my man is one of a kind. I have to buckle up for safety when I'm with him, but it's fun.
that's
so.
cool.
And then listen, I get the great honor of hosting our post-game show.
Yeah.
So right after the game's over on CBS, flip over to NFL Network. Well, we're not going to be on the field this year. Nobody is. But we have headsets set up all over, so all the winners will still be joining us. And they just won't be sitting on the set with us, obviously, because of COVID restrictions. So it will still get to bring you the best of the celebration.
Chris, I know I'm kind of naturally an idiot, but off the record, that's awesome, man. Like, after the Super Bowl, you're talking to those dudes. So,
dude, it's the best gig.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like being close to the action when somebody's life changes. And for 30 minutes, it's not about dollars and how can I improve my brand. It's like these guys who work their entire lives getting to the pinnacle. And it's just raw emotion. It's really cool. It's fun stuff. And I am very, very fortunate that NFL Network, gives me the reins to not screw it up for 2 hours.
That's awesome, man. All right, Chris, thank you so much, man. Have fun down there. At Chris Rose on TikTok, is that right?
Stop. I do have a TikTok, but it's really more for my viewing pleasure than anything else. But
okay.
You can follow me on Twitter. Come on, Jake, at Chris Rose. Don't act like you haven't hit that follow button.
Oh,
I keep rejecting it.
I'm there right now. Damn it, blowing up my spot. All right, Chris, thank you so much, man. Have fun down there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Be careful there in the snow.
Yeah,
all right?
We will. Thanks, man.
All right, boys.
Bye. Well, that was awesome. That was our secret guest, Chris Rose. Glad it ended up working out perfectly for us. I heard he was going down there, and like he said, they're about to be going nuts for the next 70 hours. Not all him, but a lot of him. So tweet at Chris Rose. Thank him for coming on. All the Wake and Jake diehards. I would appreciate that. He would appreciate that. And he's kind of the best. He's the best.
He's the man.
When he just described it, like wife, kids, sports, that's kind of me and BBD's dream board if we had to make one. So,
just wife and kids away.
Yeah. Tweet at Chris Rose. Tell him he's the best. Thank him. Man, that after the Super Bowl is awesome.
That's cool.
Just being with those dudes and yeah, I mean, that night can never be replaced for them.
It's like the same. But then 30 minutes of their life changing.
However much money, however anything, that's it. So that's awesome. Thank you, Chris.